I remember we used to go to a member of parliament, about 7 of us who were South Sudanese with our families. And then we bring up these cases with concrete evidences. Given the sensitivity of the foreign policy of Canada, human rights thing, and abuses, the rape, and the bombardment of villages, and killing women and children, even some cattle camps were being bombed, they get it clearly. Because they know, European, they fought because they know what it means. Yes. So, and also some churches, because also churches were very, very strongly engaged. The Catholic Church.
Because the church speaks to the
constituencies, and they are very influential as well. Yeah. So, I remember the church we prayed, St. Elizabeth, which is a Catholic church, we go there, all my kids were baptized there. When you pull the priest aside after the mass and tell them, we have this report yesterday. One of our community members that did not show up today, the father was killed yesterday. The helicopter came and bombed the whole village. So we are doing prayers for them and all this. They get the message very clearly. And these are civilians. So as a result of this, South Sudanese across the board managed to pass the message. Same thing in the U.S. And look at the Black Caucuses, because the Black Caucuses, the Black Americans, of course, they know what injustice is.
Yes.
They are living it. They have gone through it. And for them, seeing other black people suffering outside, especially these cases of rape, which were being reported, helicopters, gunship mowing down villages, live, throwing bombs randomly on villages and camps, it was appealing. So people managed to.
Do that. Now, after all that, in 2006, you decide to you resign, and this time, where did the call come from?
This time. Because when I was chair of the party, of the chapter, for 2 terms, actually. I resigned when I was coming back to Sudan now. Our message was that when peace comes, we have to come back as cadets of the party and work in the party. That was our strategy.
Yeah.
Come back to the SPLM. With the little experience we had during Democratic Forum, Khartoum, student politics, we thought we would continue to do the same thing. But a colleague who is now in Juba calls me and said, the SPLM, there is this proportion, the 28% of the civil servant to be given to South Sudan as per the agreement.
Yes, that's by then the Sudanese government.
Yeah. So we're told that, most of the cadres of the party, especially the chapters who were working outside, they need to come back. And of course, being the top cadre, the managing of the chapter, I thought would be the first thing to do. When peace comes, cadres have to come back, and you are now coming to the party to be assigned any job. But we're told now the foreign service there is a percentage for South Sudanese foreign service. It clicked from my mind. What we faced when we were fighting these people, one of the strengths and one of the weaknesses of South Sudanese was our foreign policy. The Khartoum was able to survive because they were very, very good in foreign policies.
They had the Iranians, they had the whoever they can take.
Exactly. Yeah. So when this thing of foreign service came in, I said, no, this is the right place, because some of us will still believe that it can simply go wrong again.
Yeah.
And if it goes wrong again, we go back to the same stand. But at least we'll be exposed now. We'll know what were the tricks. How are they recruiting these people? For us, it was an extension of our foreign policy, so that we get trained and get exposed how to do the lobby properly.
So then, do you get assigned from there, or you come
the party list was given, the number of people given, and now they were asking for certificates, credentials to be sent. So I sent my credential to one of my cousins in Khartoum. It was given, the list was given, they were making list. My name was included in the list, of course, for potential candidates. I fly to Juba, to Khartoum, because that was the only route, of course.
So you fly to Khartoum after how many years?
From 1999.
From 1999. So you
2006.
What was the impression when you landed?
It's tough, You at least, I grew up in Khartoum.
Yeah.
Basically,
Khartoum. You
So it's like you feel this is where you spend most of your childhood, basically. A lot of memories.
Very nostalgic, yeah.
Yeah, it's also now the Sudanese.
You go to Sugar Arabi, you check your former tea places, whatever.
Because we used to have no money, so basically you walk those places, so you remember them vividly. And I come to Khartoum, has changed a little bit, of course. It is different, the building, especially when peace came. These people actually utilized the money from the oil.
A lot of the oil money is
about 10 bridges were coming up at the same time from 2005 to 2011. They really put a lot of money into the infrastructure in Khartoum. So I come to Khartoum, we're told waiting for the result because they were now submitted to the public service.
Yeah.
General Al-Samanai was the Minister for Labor at the time. Yeah. And I was coming now, from Khartoum, I flew to Wow because I'm going to the village for the first time. From 19...
Since the time you left as a young person?
I've never gone back from there. I left the village from 1985 in May. I've never gone back to the village until 2007 in February.
Then you come to Wow. You land in the
Land in Wow. Late Chol Ajongo was in the village. He was waiting for me in the village. He sent me the car. I drove to the village now.
By then, your brother, General Ajongo, was what by then?
He was by then, I think, he's still in Division 1. He was the commander of Division 1 in Rang.
Ah.
Yeah.
So he was in the village. He sent you a car?
Yeah, he sent me a car.
Okay.
And one of his wife was waiting for me. He was in Wow. So we drove to the village now. The village was completely different because there was nothing. Only mango trees because it was destroyed.
So the village was worse than when you left it?
Completely. There was no house there because my village, when the war started, because the village just in the middle of the road, when the war started, people have to move to the other side because it is the Jesh, Sharab and Gatar, and then Arabi passes by the village. The main railway, and then our home, the house is here, and here you find Gatar, and then Sharab Arabi. So it's not a good place to stay in when there's war because that's just the route. Now soon was take. So I come to the village now, because my father passed on already, and we're coming for Karama.
That is also something that happens in a lot of South Sudanese.
Yeah.
A lot of there is the bicker, but a lot of the final prayers of people were delayed by years.
Yes.
Because of the war.
Yeah, because not everybody, people were scattered.
So this conflict was so bad that there was no time to mourn.
No time.
Literally.
Because you don't even know your time will come anytime soon. There was no time to mourn.
So you come back, you immediately arrive to the final, to the final kind of prayers of your dad.
Yes.
And how was the atmosphere, first of all?
It was tough because I remember my late brother Ajongo, who was a very good friend, brothers, but very, very connected to each other. He actually, for the first time, saw him crying.
He was a very tough person.
Yeah.
Like seeing war, telling you all that.
Yes.
So you've seen him crying now.
When he wept, he said, what? For almost few minutes, and he told me, Chol, the reason, I'm crying is that some of us, because all the family were together, even your mother, when she passed on, she would always say, I'm going to die. I've never seen Chol. I will not see his children. I will not see him. That was my mother, what she used to say all the time until she passed on. But now, the fact that I'm crying to see, when you left as a young boy, none of us knew you would come back as you are, mature as you are. Again, because all of them were very stubborn. To see you coming back, you are educated, you have married, you have children. That's all what we want from you. Nothing.
So it was also a tears both of loss and joy.
Yeah. Yes.
To see you
back.
To see you back.
So many years alone, and with nobody telling you what to do and what not to do.
For context, a lot of people actually don't come back. I know there's some people who just end up in Khartoum doing just doing casual work.
Even some of my age mates who have never come back. Even after peace, they never came.
Even there are people who went to the West, and as soon as they go there, their family disintegrates.
They're gone. So that's what I'm saying. The fact that you can come back, it's family, you are educated. And although the kids are not here, but the fact that you have family, at that time I have 4 kids. That by itself, that's what the family want. We want nothing from you.
So then now the procession, you get to this. Did you try to go to any place that you stayed in while you were young? Was there any resemblance?
I always do. Even now, when I go to the village, I walk because I used to go after cattle, so I know all.
So you know the trees, I know
every place.
So that was also a moment of reckoning and kind of touching base with that. Now from there on, were you then given a call that you were assigned to the service?
Yes, in the village, when we were doing this thing of the, after the Karama, my father-in-law sends me a newspaper. I still have it now. The Rai Alam.
Oh, yes.
Rai
Alam in Sudan,
yes, with a list of intake of South Sudanese القبول في الخارجية أبناء ولايات.
Yes. South Sudanese who are accepted for the foreign service.
باعتبار المعالجة بتاع 28% بالنسبة للخدمة الدينية.
Yes.
I was we were 62. So I was among the people in the list in the newspapers. It was sent to WOW. Somebody came from WOW, gave it to General Ajongo in the house. He didn't even know, but I told him, but he was not sure. He said, no, there is a newspaper came from Khartoum. And I see your name here. I said, yes.
Yeah.
He said, okay. So now you'll have to go. So I decided, he said, okay, arrange a car, call one of his officers in WOW now to buy me a ticket for next week, because it was, I remember it was on the weekend, that you went near to come for, because it's Badr.
Badr الطيران, yeah. So Badr من واو.
من واو لخرطوم. Used to come. So they booked me in. I moved from the village in the morning to WOW. The following day, like around 11, I flew back to Khartoum. Now to go and process my my papers in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs.
So that's how you started. So you started with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs prior to the independence.
Yeah, yes.
And you worked in the ministry for how many years?
Yes, I worked. I went processed my paperwork. I worked like in 3 departments in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the legal departments, and I work in the borders and alien departments, and I work in the peace department, because the department was in charge of UN. But usually in Sudan, what they do, when you get deployed to a different station, now you get moved to the geographical department.
Yeah.
So in November 2007, I was deployed to Netherlands, to The Hague. Okay, I was basically a deputy ambassador.
In the Hague.
In The Hague, I served there for 3 years and a half.
Wow.
So my name comes out now that I'm deployed to The Hague. So I was taken from Peace Department to European Department. Usually, what they do before you go to the station, you are sent to the European Department or the African Department, and now given a file specifically for Netherlands. So I was given this file, European file, but I was given the Dutch file. So we call what they call country profile. It's my Safet al-Laqat.
Yeah.
So the file would literally be telling you the historical background, how they established
the treaties, everything,
relations, and the rest. Then now you go to life expectancy in the country, the political system in the country, and then so by the time you go, you know. So I stayed there. A month later, I got my ticket. I flew to The Hague, and I started my job. From there up to 2011. Actually, I left Netherlands on March, 30th of March, 2011.
Just like few months to the.
Few months because we were told to wait. I never waited.
You never waited.
Even the money, I actually never took my money. We were supposed to stay up to June.
Yeah.
I left.
So you came back to Juba?
I flew to Canada.
Yeah.
Then to bring my kids now.
Yeah.
To Juba so that they attend the independence.
Wow. You brought your kids specifically to attend the independence?
Yes.
Was it the first time your kids?
The first time.
They land in Juba?
Yes. I had 1-year-old boy.
Yeah.
It was tough, but I had to bring them. I actually took them to the village after the independence. They went to the village. They spent 45 days.
In that, and that's also the time that your brother and everyone gets to see your kids.
Yeah, yes. Everybody had to see your kids.
And your kids were like what, speaking Canadian English?
They were. It was a good experience for them.
Yeah.
But I brought them in. I said, independent, they have to attend it. So I brought them.
So you brought them in, but this is kind of now the return. Now your kids see your family and see everyone.
Yeah.
Then from there on, after the independence, you continue in the foreign service.
Yes.
Now.
Yes.
But in a new country now, in South Sudan.
South Sudan, yes.
Were you also deployed outside?
Yes,
or?
yes.
You were sent to where?
I actually established the embassy in London.
You established the embassy in London?
Yeah.
So immediately after independence?
After independence, because after we came back from, I took my kids back to Canada.
Yeah.
And I came back to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. I was in the ministry. I was actually the director of the information department in the ministry.
Yeah.
2012, in May, I was deployed to go and establish an embassy in London.
How do you go and establish an embassy? You work as
I was assigned because we had liaison office there, but there was nothing basically. So I was now asked to go ahead and establish an embassy before my ambassador, who had a mission, comes. Yeah. So I go to London. That was in May, exactly 27th of May. It was a difficult start again, but living in Europe, I am familiar.
Yeah.
So it took me exactly about 4 months. I was looking for the house for myself, for my ambassador, and for the embassy at the same time. Basically using, I walk or get black cab or...
Wait a minute. You going to establish an embassy, you go and take a black cab and say like, hey, is this place for rent? I want it for a country? That's how you do it?
That's what I did.
So you're using your activism door to door and you establish the embassy. The ambassador comes in.
Yes,
that's the first ambassador.
Yes, Ambassador Sabit, yeah, Ambassador who is now in the US. Yeah, I was a very sharp ambassador, very decent guy. You know, I tell him, don't come until I tell you that the house is ready, the office is ready. I was given later on money came like about 120,000 to start to buy cars, which I did.
Yeah.
Bought 3 new cars and 1 in good conditions. Like the first car, I ordered it. It was made.
Oh.
Yeah, the BMW.
Ah.
Like you go to the company and say that you want the specifications because I know our people are very tall.
Yeah.
You need space. So they written the bill. You see the next to the engineer on the computer. You select even the rims and the interior. I selected it, and I paid like £8,000 at the time down payment. 3 weeks later, they manufactured the car, delivered in London. You pay the rest, and then you take the car. So that's exactly what we did.
So you're basically doing foreign service, but doing it as a startup, right?
Yeah, it was a startup.
So this is like running an embassy or establishing an embassy as a startup.
Yeah.
Like a small business owner here and there, negotiating with people.
That's true.
So you set that up, and the ambassador comes. And how many years did you spend now
I
in the
spent
embassy?
my full tour of duty in London as a deputy. It was 2012. I went in May.
Yeah.
In 2016, in April, I was called by my minister, Maria at the time.
Yeah.
I remember I was driving to Birmingham on the weekend. He calls, I see a number, I picked the number. I said, Ambassador, I told him, Minister, I'm driving. He said, no, you have to stop.
Wow.
So I have to branch out the one the gas station, and he tells me, that was Saturday, he tells me, I want you in Juba on Monday.
Like that?
Yeah. I said, Minister, he said, there's no discussion. Just you have to report to Juba.
Foreign service, does it work
like
that way?
Yeah. It's just like army. It's just like
So
army.
wait a minute, even if when you're living in the luxury of some fancy country somewhere.
There's no way you have to report because it's just like an army.
What about your house? Everything? What your friends?
Nothing. And if we are sitting now, if I get a call from my minister that you need to report, I will have to go. That's why my phone 24 hours, 7 days have to be open. My undersecretary, I'm expecting a call from him anytime, from my minister, or even the president, sometimes can call you.
So then, so you go and tell your family like, hey,
I told them.
That's it?
Exactly, yeah. I told them now the minister wants me, I have to travel to Juba tomorrow. I didn't even have money, but one of my colleagues said, you know what, I need because the cell was going to come next week.
Yeah.
I told my good friend, David Lako, who is the second secretary at the time, I said, what, he gave me, I went bought a ticket. The good thing in London, the ticket in place, it was Saturday.
Yeah.
I now, because every day there's a flight from Heathrow to Nairobi, KTO and Ethiopian Airways. So I buy a ticket from them, and then on Sunday at 8, I was at Heathrow. Straight away, 5 in the morning, I was here.
In Nairobi?
Nairobi, KQ. And they used to have flight at 7.
Yeah, the 7 a.m. that reaches at 9.
Yeah. So from there, I just went at 7. I boarded Juba 9 sharp. I was at the airport. From the airport, I drove to the minister in his office. I walked in, he got up. He said, you're here? I said, but he said, I had to come. So I said, okay, sit outside there.
Now, when you say that you didn't have money, that is something that is kind of a recurring, that is a theme that is also, has come with foreign service to some extent. Yeah. It's not all rosy fun and luxury champagne
it is not. Actually, by the way, if you talk to senior colleagues, because working in Khartoum has exposed us to quite a number of cadets, because Khartoum was an established system. We're talking 50 or 60 years Minister of Foreign Service, Foreign Minister of Foreign Affairs. So they have quite a number of highly trained cadets who have exposed. So some of the people that we work with, some of the senior colleagues that we work with, especially the 2 ambassadors I work with, which I think they really mentor me, and they actually train me well in the work, because the 2 of them actually, they had 34 service.
Wow. Yeah. Different deployments.
Different deployments from the time they joined Foreign Service during Mansour Khalid in 1974, 75. And this is one of them, one actually Georgetown University, PhD in Mass in International Law. The other one was also a lawyer. And they had a lot of influence in the way they mold and they train people. They will tell you, when you join the service, they tell you, what, if you need money, Foreign Service is not the place to get money for. And it is true. Most of them retired with this nice necktie, that's it. There's nothing. Because your money, if you have to get paid, basically, is actually for more or less networking. Because if I'm to invite a British ambassador, for example, I can go with him to Kangware, right?
Yeah, but that's the other thing that is like it's you're required to maintain a certain prestige.
Certain prestige, because I'm not alone. You know, I walk in the street here. I'm not. This is not me, Chol, actually talking. Whatever I do, I have 12 million behind me.
So you're representing that country.
I'm representing 12 million. Okay, I'm representing the president here. So I need to behave. My conduct always what underpins my approach and my conduct wherever I go. Is always that is you. You know, I'm representing.
So you have to represent that country in the highest level of esteem, and also like courtesy and what.
Exactly. No matter how you are stressed, you don't show that. You know, somebody you won't tell anybody that I'm not getting paid.
If you're called to go to Mombasa and check something, you have to fly there.
You have to fly there. You take loan from anybody you fly. I mean, nobody will know where you're getting money from. You know, I'm now representing the African group.
Yeah.
As the one I
yes.
You know, I can't turn it down, because the group unanimously, for the first time, even when they didn't call me, said, you know what, this is something that has never happened. The group unanimously selected you to represent them. No single dissenting vote.
I want to talk, because we're running out of time. I want to talk a bit now. I want to kind of I want to talk about you now in the Foreign Service here in Nairobi, and I'll reflect, because you seem you're a very good storyteller. You have a very good memory, keeping all the records, you know. So we kind of built all these places, exposure, and what landed you into now becoming an ambassador. Before I go to that, do you think sometimes people are a bit naive? They think being an ambassador is it's something that you just get after your PhD or your master's?
Well, it's quite demanding. In fact, not even an ambassador. The moment you are a diplomat, as we said earlier, is a profession that you need to walk a fine line. You are not yourself. Whatever you do on daily basis, you are basically, it is an interpretation of public international law in whatever engagement you do. And more important, you know, when you talk of credence or credentials, when you are given that credence, whatever you say is always assumed to be, you are speaking for the big man.
It's an extension of the president.
Of the president. So you have to be very, very careful whatever you say, especially in your informal setting. That's why sometimes you say something, you tell somebody, this is either out of records, or this is not my government position.
Not my government position.
So that you don't mix up. So because people will assume what you're saying. So it makes your life a little bit tricky, because you're not yourself. You know. Yeah. Flying a flag is not like anybody can do it. You know, and how many people in the country that fly flags? So this one should be the one guiding your attitude and guiding your approaches. So when did you, from 2016, when did you get the appointment now to because when we joined the Foreign Service in Khartoum, I went as Mustashar. I was a councillor. Yeah. Now actually first secretary, and then later on I was promoted to councillor. Yeah. In 2010, if we were to be part of Sudan's Foreign Service, if we and Sudan were to be the same, I would have been promoted by 30th of July. I was supposed to be promoted to full municipal plenipotentiary. So 3 years down the road, I was going to be an ambassador. Yes, third grade ambassador.
So when you talk about an ambassador here, you're talking not because I think for a common person they think an ambassador is being sent out, but ambassador is a rank, right?
It's a rank.
So like you are in country, but your rank is an ambassador.
Ambassador, yeah, it's a rank, because you join Foreign Service as third secretary. I joined the Foreign Service as first secretary in Khartoum, mid-service career. Even the way they rated us was that when I joined the Foreign Service in Khartoum, that's what Khartoum did. The public service was that. Okay, I came in 2006, 2007. They would assume I graduated. I left university 12 years earlier. So they would see if I were to join Foreign Service in 1996, where would I be now? So they looked at those who graduated those years, and if they were to be in Foreign Service, plus the experience and the exposure and master's degree, for example, I was rated to be a councillor. So you have third secretary, second secretary, first secretary, councillor, minister.
Councillor is the one who deals with what, visa affairs or stuff.
No. Any diplomat should do anything.
Oh, but like that's the rank.
Just the rank.
Okay.
Councillor is actually like grade 5 by civil service. Grade 5. Okay.
So were you then, when you're called back, now you were given a promotion, I guess?
So when we came back, when I came here now, you know, as an ambassador, just a grade 1 ambassador, but in 2012. 2012 we were rated, and then they were appointed from where, like because we skipped promotion with Khartoum. So I was part of the first group that were appointed as ambassadors in April 2012. Second great ambassador at the time.
Yeah.
So with the other promotion later on, I was uplifted from second grade ambassador to full grade ambassador, grade 1. And that's how I was assigned.
So when were you upgraded to full grade to first grade?
I was the second man in London. I was the second because my ambassador.
Yes, you were your second day. Yeah.
Yeah, I was second.
So and then when was your appointment to Nairobi to Kenya?
It was 2016 in February, March. I was called, and then in February my letter of credentials came out. And then I reported, I came here, left my thing. As I told you, I went to Juba.
Yeah.
When minister called me that the reason I call you that you are now deployed to Nairobi. You have to come. You know, I talked to him after I reported. He said, okay, it is good that you came. That was on Monday. You have to go back on Thursday because your appointment with the president is going to be next week. So that you go to Nairobi.
Wow.
So now I had to adjust my ticket. Had to fly back to London.
Again.
In less than 3 days. Had to fly back to London, hand over my office. And then the other Monday, I have to fly back here because their appointment was going to be Wednesday in Juba.
Yeah.
I left my bags and my books here. I fly to Juba.
Yeah.
Then I met the president and I came back. That was now May here.
That's in less than 2 weeks?
Yes, I have to do it less than 2 weeks. So I came here in May, submitted, I came with the letters, gave them to foreign ministry. Then I was now given a time to present my credentials to the president. That was on the 9th of June. So 9th of June 2016, I presented my credentials.
So 9th of June 2016, you're here in front of President Uhuru Kenyatta.
Yes.
And this is the first time you're presenting your credentials.
Yes. Yes.
How did that feel? Like this a boy from a village somewhere now meeting with the president of Kenya and presenting his credentials. A boy from somewhere who is a foreign student somewhere, who was a refugee. Working for UNHCR, all this, but now you're in front of President Uhuru Kenyatta. Like, what was the feeling? Like, what was the mood by then?
You know, it's mixed. First of all, it's okay. First of all, it's a destiny. I never thought I would be this far. I've come this far.
Yeah.
But what always keeps you running would be, you know what? We are not independent. Okay, that's what comes to your mind. You know, the struggle that people have been fighting for is now bearing fruit in a sense that South Sudan now is recognized. That's what comes to your head. But the challenge, you know, within you, the debate would be, I have to be to the task. You know, because it's a task that it's not easy. You know, it's one thing to be in front of cameras, but will I really be up to the task? Because you don't want to let your people down. And again, you know, some of the issues that you hear from your parents sometimes also shape your thinking. I remember always my late father used to tell us, you know, all my children, I don't want you to accept any child. You should not accept something you are unable to do. Don't lie to yourself. If you are not competent to do something,
just
be honest.
Be honest with yourself.
Say no. If you want to do it to the maximum. Make it perfect. He believes in perfection. You want to lead people, lead by example. You want to do the right thing, you know. If you are not sure of what you're doing, don't accept it. So this some sort of is okay. Now this is the time, you know. Remember what my father used to say.
It's like all the guidance from your father as a very young person, kind of like now shapes that.
Yeah,
but you're not only appointed to as an ambassador here, but you're also the representative for the United Nations Environmental Program.
Yes.
Like were you informed that immediately as you took office?
Yes, because you know when you come in with the credentials, you know, because Kenya is one of the in the global south is the multilateral station. Okay, because you know we had setting of foreign always the assignments. You know, in foreign ministry you have multilateral station, we have bilateral stations. Kenya is one of the multilateral stations because there is UN Habitat here and UN.
Yes, UN Habitat has its HQ here and
one place, the same place.
Yes, and their global headquarters are here
in the south.
So you also assume those two positions.
Yes, two programs. The moment you submit your credentials to the president, and also you request to submit the same thing, credentials to the DG of the union here. Yeah. Which I did.
So and this is now an enlarged scope. And now what is it? So the next day you're briefed about what this is. This organization does this, or you already had a bit of a prior information.
The setting of the organizations, especially the UN, again, with the law background, you understand international organizations is one of the subjects taught in the university, law schools, and also the treaty agreement and then the host country agreement. These are something that you are familiar with. With my little exposure with the UNHCR, it also gives